cahyo.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good afternoon to everyone. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wa bihi nasta'inu ala umurid dunya waddin. Wassalat wassalamu ala ashrafil mursalin sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amma ba'd. Respectable Associate Professor Dr. Eliar Mahmudov, the Vice Rector of Tashkent State University of Oriental Studies, Uzbekistan, respectable Assistant Professor Nurdiana SAMM, the Dean of Faculty of Economics and Business, University of Islam Malang, respectable Associate Professor Dr. Zulayho Kodirova, Chair of Department of Foreign Economic Activity and Tourism from Tashkent State University of Oriental Studies, Uzbekistan, all faculty members and lecturers, and also students from the Faculty of Economic and Business of University of Islam Malang, and also from Tashkent State University of Oriental Studies, Uzbekistan. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Let's thank to Allah who has given us His blessing, so that today, this afternoon at 2 p.m. at Western Indonesia time and 12 noon Tashkent time, we can get together again with the very important program, online visiting professor program in collaboration between the Faculty of Economic and Business of University of Islam Malang and the Department of Foreign Economic Activity and Tourism, Tashkent State University of Oriental Studies, Uzbekistan. Salawat and salam to the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam always be given to him, so that we all as a Muslim can hold the Islamic religion. Ladies and gentlemen, faculty members, students and scholars from Indonesia and Uzbekistan, to start this afternoon session, let's recite Surah Al-Fatiha together. We hope that by reciting Surah Al-Fatiha together, we hope this program can be beneficial for both institution in Indonesia and Uzbekistan. Let's recite Surah Al-Fatiha together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanirrahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Ladies and gentlemen, happy audience. Our next agenda is singing of Indonesian national anthem, followed by March Subhanul Watan. Ladies and gentlemen, attending from Faculty of Economic and Business UNISMA Malang and also from Zoom meeting, please kindly stand up to sing Indonesian national anthem.
ahlal waton. Indonesia biladi anta unwanul fahoma, kullu man ya'tika yawma qawmi hayyal qawmama, kullu man ya'tika yawma qawmi hayyal qawmama. Jaga hati wahai tanah airku, cintamu dalam imanku, jangan halangkan nasibmu. Bangkitlah hai bangsaku, jaga hati wahai tanah airku, cintamu dalam imanku, jangan halangkan nasibmu. Bangkitlah hai bangsaku. Indonesia negeriku, engkau panji martabatku. Siapa datang mengancammu, kan binasa di bawah tulimu. Siapa datang mengancammu, kan binasa di bawah tulimu.
Ladies and gentlemen, please kindly be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, happy audience from Indonesia and from Uzbekistan. Our next agenda is the recitation of Salawat Nurel Anwar. Let's recite Salawat Nurel Anwar together. Allahumma salli ala Nuril Anwar wa sirril asrari wa tiryaqil aghyar wa miftahi babil yasari sayyidina wa maulana Muhammadinil Muqtar wa alihil athari wa ashabihil akhyar adada ni'amillah wa ifdali adada ni'amillah wa ifdali. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, our next agenda is a welcoming speech which will be delivered by the Dean of Faculty of Economics and Business, University of Islam Malang. I would like to invite Assistant Professor Nurdiana S.A. M.Si to deliver her remark, welcoming remark, and officially open this international webinar.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajmain, amma ba'du. First of all, let us pray and praise to Allah Subhanahu wa ta'ala for His blessing and mercy. We can come together without any obstacle in the healthy condition, so that we can gather in the international webinar, the futures of the economic development of Uzbekistan. Secondly, let us greet and pray to our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who had brought us to the path of light and left the darkness in this life. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor for me to warmly welcome Associate Professor Dr. Zulayho Kodirova from Tashkent State University of Oriental Study, Uzbekistan, as speaker, international webinar, The Futures of the Economic Development of Uzbekistan to University of Islam Malang. It is great pleasure to have in this agenda today. This event is a reflection of the Faculty of Economic and Business, University of Islam Malang, to conduct an international collaboration with Tashkent State University of Oriental Study, Uzbekistan. There are 3-point international programs that are currently being implemented well, including international credit transfer, joint conference, international conference economic business and social sciences, and lecturer exchange. We are aware that we are currently facing increasingly complex global competition. The demand of the Industrial Revolution 4.0 and Society 5.0, as well as the Independent Campus Policy, kebijakan kampus merdeka, initiated by Ministry of Education and Culture of the Republic of Indonesia. Higher education must be able to play an active, innovative, and inspiring role so that it can produce highly competitive graduates. We have made various efforts by establishing international cooperation with other universities from various countries, including Tashkent State University of Oriental Study, Uzbekistan. We are committed to always improving the quality of education and accommodating more opportunities for academic collaboration. I'm Dean Economic and Business Faculty, University of Islam Malang, would like to express highly appreciation to the Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Elyar Mahmudov as Vice Rector International Collaboration, Tashkent State University of Oriental Study, Uzbekistan. To the Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Zulayho Kodirova from Tashkent State University of Oriental Study, Uzbekistan as speaker, international webinar. The Honorable, the Vice Dean, Economic Business Faculty, University of Islam Malang, Head and Secretary of Accounting Management and Islamic Banking Department. The Honorable, Head of Office International Affairs, University of Islam Malang, Dr. Imam Wahyudi Karimullah. And the Honorable Head of IDT FEB UNISMA, Mr. Ervan Effendi, and the invitees and participants. By attending such kind of meeting, I believe you will get a lot of advantage. You can get insight of it, the future of economic development of Uzbekistan. Please do participate in this golden opportunity, and I hope your participation will bring a lot of benefit. Please accept our deepest apologies for all the imperfection during the event. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dengan ucapan Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, maka international webinar dengan tema The Future of Economic Development of Uzbekistan dengan speaker Associate Professor Dr. Zulayho Kodirova from Tashkent State University of Oriental Study, Uzbekistan, kami nyatakan dibuka. Demikian, kurang lebihnya kami mohon maaf. Wallahul muwaffiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Assistant Professor Nurdiana, for the welcoming remark and for officially open this international joint webinar today. Ladies and gentlemen, our next agenda before we start the webinar session, I would like to invite the Dean to stand up and also the uh, International Development Unit of Faculty of Economic University of Malang to kindly stand up together to officially give a certificate of appreciation for Associate Professor Dr. Zulayho Kodirova for being the speaker this afternoon. I would like to invite the Dean to stand up and also the Dean, the National Development Division Unit. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the official certificate of appreciation for our speaker for this visiting professor in collaboration between Faculty of Economic and Business, University of Islam Malang, and Tashkent State University of Oriental Study, Uzbekistan. Thank you very much. Please kindly be seated back. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, all audience participants from Indonesia, all over Indonesia, especially from the Faculty of Economic and Business, University of Islam Malang, and also from Tashkent State University of Oriental Studies. Our speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Zulayho Kodirova, will talk about the future of economic development in Uzbekistan. But before she present her presentation, I would like to give an introduction about our speaker. So she is currently the head of the Department of Foreign Economic Activity and Tourism at Tashkent State University of Oriental Studies. She pursued her doctoral degree program from Tashkent State University of Oriental Studies, majoring in economic, of course, in economy. He also received her bachelor and master degree program in economy, of course, and she extensively did research in the area of labor, international labor market, labor migration between Uzbekistan and other countries, and she had the experience of joining professional development training in Dubai, Uni Arab Emirates, and also the Institute for Cultural and Scientific Studies. And she speaks Arabic, so if the audience would like to ask question in Arabic, please welcome maybe. and then today she will talk about the current issues from the perspective of Uzbekistan. And you will have the opportunity for about 30 to 40 minutes, Professor Zulayho. And then we will have a question and answer session after that. I would like to invite the audience later on to ask questions because today's event is conducted through a Zoom platform meeting and also from YouTube. So the audience attending from YouTube from the Faculty of Economic and Business of UNISMA Malang can write questions, and then also from Zoom meeting chat also possible to ask questions. So without further ado, I would like to give the opportunity for Associate Professor Dr. Zulayho Kodirova to present your presentation from your. Thank you. Please give a round of applause for our speaker.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear Dr. Nurdiana, dear Dr. Imam Karimullah, students and our colleagues, glad to see you. Is everything okay? Is there no problem with hearing me?
No, it's good. It's clear.
It's good. Okay. Dear Dr. Imam Karimullah, can you make me as a host of the session to show my presentation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, already.
Can you see the presentation?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Dear guests, dear students and colleagues, today we are talking about features of economic development in Uzbekistan. In this case, we are discussing the following issues. We'll talk about our country's profile, economic development, its resource like population and mineral resource, foreign trade relations, the main investors of the country, labor export processes, and COVID-19 measures. So these are the issues which we'll talk today about. So if I talk about the country, you know that Uzbekistan is a double landlocked country which is located in Central Asia. We have young and educated workforce. Population of the country is 33.6 million people. The country demonstrates the high economic growth in GDP, 5 to 8% for the past 5 years. And GDP in current US dollars accounts for $57.9 billion. And the GDP per capita accounts for $1,750. And the life expectancy among the population is almost 72 years. And Uzbek, Russian as a second language, are spoken in our country. And Uzbekistan is rich in mineral resources like gold, copper, natural gas, and etc. So, if we talk about the economic growth of the country, it consists as a usual country from agriculture, industry, and services. Almost half of the GDP accounts from services, 34% for industry, and 18% for agriculture. If we look at the economic growth trends, GDP for $50 billion in 2018, and in 2019 it became almost $58 billion, and GDP per capita was $1,500. Now it became $1,700. Import of the country accounts for $24 billion, when the export accounts for $18 billion. As in 2018, it was respectively $19 billion and $14 billion. And if we talk about the foreign exchange reserves, it accounted for $27 billion in 2018, which became $29.3 billion in 19. And the external debt of the country to GDP accounts for almost 22 billion US dollars. If we talk about the population of the country, it's the main and important resource of the country. Uzbekistan is the most populous country in Central Asia and the third largest country among the ex-Soviet Union countries after Russian Federation and Ukraine. Population growth rates estimates for 1.7% per year. We have high birth rates and improving life expectancy, of course. And over 55% of population is under 30 years old, and 87% of population is under 54 years old, which means we have young and working age population, and half of the population live in rural areas. So urbanization accounts for 50%, and the largest cities of the country are Tashkent with a population 4.5 million, Samarkand, Namangan, and Andijan. So if we talk about the foreign trade economic relations, as I mentioned, import accounts for $24 billion when the export accounts for $18 billion. Foreign trade relations are growing fast after the currency liberalization in 2017 by the President of Republic of Uzbekistan. And in 2019, negotiations to World Trade Organization membership started. And in December 2020, Uzbekistan received its observer state in Eurasian Economic Union. Currency of the country is Uzbek soms. Exchange rate is 10,500 per US dollars. So what do we export? What do we import? Who are our main partners? So the main export goods are gold, energy, food, metals, and chemicals. And we export our goods to mainly to Russian Federation, China, Kazakhstan, Turkey, Afghanistan, and other countries. What do we import? We import machinery and equipment, chemicals, metals, food, and etc. And our main import partners are China, Russian Federation, South Korea, Kazakhstan, Turkey, Germany, and other countries as well. So, who are the main investors of the country? We have a lot of investors like Lukoil in the sphere of gas and petroleum, the Russian company, Huawei, Chinese company Huawei to communication sphere, to telecommunication sphere, and the British American tobacco company, which is British American in sphere of producing tobacco, and such Nestle, Pepsi, Nobel, and etc. So the main our investors are countries like Russian Federation, China, Switzerland, Britain, America, and Turkey. So, as I mentioned before, our country is rich in mineral resources. For example, estimated reserves of gold accounts for 6,000 tons, and Uzbekistan is the third largest country with gold reserves. And the natural gas, we are 21st country in the world ranking in producing natural gas. And estimated 27,000 tons of uranium, and we are the 11th country in producing uranium. And estimated reserves of coal accounts for 2 billion tons, and we are the 16th country in the world in producing coal. And the next our mineral resource is copper, which estimated reserves accounts for 16.5 million tons, and we are the 12th country in the world. And the next one is wolfram. The estimated reserves accounts for 124,000 tons, and we are the 6th largest country which produce wolfram. Labor exporting countries. Labor exporting processes in the country developing with the high rates. As I mentioned, our country is young populated, so we have a lot of labor force, of course. As estimated in 2019, 2.5 million migrants work growth of the country. It accounts for about 8% of total population. And in 2019, 6 billion US dollars remittance was received. It accounts for 2% of country's GDP. So where do we export our labor force? We export to Russian Federation, Kazakhstan, Korea, and Turkey. Today, about 2 million Uzbek migrants work in Russian Federation, 250,000 Uzbeks work in Kazakhstan, 61,000 of them in Korean Republic, and 40,000 of them are in Turkey. So in Russia, Uzbeks are the largest ethnic group of migrants. And our migrants mainly work in construction, retail, catering, home care, and etc. So what are we doing in terms of COVID-19? What measures are accepted by the government? So anti-crisis fund of COVID-19, the anti-crisis fund accounts for 1 billion US dollars, which helps to strengthen the healthcare system and support vulnerable workers and affected business. So what measures are accepted? Support base industries affected by COVID-19, construction hospitals and quarantine complexes, buying test COVID-19 tests and medical equipment, and some social benefits and payments. So several sectors such as aviation, the Uzbekistan Airways, and transport, Tashkent Prof, received financial support during the lockdowns by government, and tourism sector exempted from taxes on land and property till the end of 2020, and extended maturities of loan repayment for affected industries, and the customs duties on primary goods like food and hygiene reduced to 0%, and the central bank reduced interest rate from 16% to 14%. So these are the main trends which is happening in terms of Uzbekistan. Thank you for your attention. I'm ready to answer to your questions.
Thank you very much, Professor Zulayho, for the presentation. It's very interesting to know and to compare the development of Uzbekistan economy with the other countries, including the export and import experiences of Uzbekistan. And also it's very interesting fact for our students at the Faculty of Economic and Business. While waiting for the questions from students, I got the questions raised in the YouTube from some of our students. The first question is about entrepreneurship. How is the progress of entrepreneurship motivation among the youth and students at the university level, especially before pandemic and after the pandemic? Because in Indonesian context nowadays, many startup businesses in Indonesia, especially in Malang, students having the creating a group, a small group of economic creativity. So they create a group of students and then investing together and then try to what we call create a small project for example, on technology, on food and beverages, and then for tourism as well. And many of our students now are still in the process of developing such kind of startup business between among students at University of Islam Malang. How is the picture, the portrait of startup business, economic creativity development among youth, among university students in Uzbekistan? Is it developing before maybe for pandemic, or maybe currently? What is the situation of startup business in Uzbekistan? And how about the possibility of startup business cooperation between Indonesian students and university students in Tashkent State University of Oriental Studies? At University of Islam Malang, we have a project called Rumah Kreatif. Rumah Kreatif is a creative unit, creative house unit, which is organized by University, UNISMA, University of Islam Malang. So University of Islam Malang is providing funding for students to create such kind of startup business between students or among students within the university, or with other universities overseas. So the questions from the student is, how is the picture, the portrait of startup business in Uzbekistan at the university level? I mean, students level. And if there is a possibility of doing startup business, maybe in what areas the what we call startup business can be done between Indonesian students and Uzbekistan students. So that's number one questions. Number two question is from Mr. Afif. He's the Vice Dean of Faculty of Economic and Business of UNISMA Malang. He's asking about trade war between China and United States. We know that now China is trying to what we call to export, to open many markets in many countries, the same as United States of America. So in this trade war position, how this trade war phenomena affect the Uzbekistan economy? Does Uzbekistan prefer goes to China or to the U.S. Market economy? So, and how is the influence of that trade war into the foreign economy of Uzbekistan? I think that those are the two questions first. You may respond. First is about startup business and the potential of collaboration between startup business by Indonesian student and Uzbekistan student, and the portrait of startup business in Uzbekistan. And the second is about the trade war between China and US, and how is the impact to the economy of Uzbekistan as a result of a trade war between China and US. Okay, thank you very much, Professor Zulayho.
Okay, thank you for a question. Startup business is widely supported. Startup business of students is widely supported by the government of Uzbekistan today. It's widely supported by large companies as well, and we are trying to attract students to this process. But in terms of pandemic, it's really little bit difficult to improve these processes. But we are ready. Our students even are ready to make startup business incorporate with Indonesian students. We are ready. And in what spheres, I think it can be some telecommunications spheres, or maybe producing telecommunication goods and etc. I think it can be the main spheres of collaborating between Indonesian students, I think. If you have any ideas, if you have any your plans, just let us know it. We do our best to incorporate our students with yours. And regarding the second question, I have to say that Uzbekistan is a really natural country to this trade wars and etc. That's why I cannot say that we support USA or China. We in this case we just look to this situation as a natural country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Zulayho. That's a very great information for our students. Jadi teman-teman ada peluang kesempatan bagi mahasiswa Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis yang sedang menyiapkan startup bisnis atau mungkin on progress, still in the progress of developing their startup business. There is a great chance, opportunity to connect with Uzbekistan students to collaborate in the area of entrepreneurship development or developing a business in the area of technology or in the other areas. And of course, Uzbekistan is in a neutral position, the same as Indonesia. So we collaborate with many countries as well as Uzbekistan. I would like to read some other questions from Zoom meeting chat. Okay. Question from Mr. Dr. Harun Al-Rashid about e-commerce. How about the e-commerce in Uzbekistan during COVID pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic? And then how about tourism sector in Uzbekistan? Is there any significant change on the tourism sector in Uzbekistan? And what kind of collaboration that can be done in the area of tourism sector between Uzbekistan and Indonesia? And the third one, question from YouTube. How about the percentage of population in Uzbekistan? You mentioned that 55% is under 29 years old, and half of the population are older age group. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, what is the role of older population? Because looks like half of the population is in the age of 55 older. Is that right? The population of the people in Uzbekistan, is it 50% is older generation, or Prof. Zulayho? Okay, so so the first question is about e-commerce in Uzbekistan. How is the situation of e-commerce in Uzbekistan, especially during the pandemic of COVID-19? And then the situation of tourism sector in Uzbekistan. And is there any special strategy prepared by the government to what we call to resolve the effect of COVID pandemic, to the tourism industry in Uzbekistan?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I couldn't hear very well. I think it's because of internet connection, but I tried to catch the question. And the e-commerce system is starting to develop in Uzbekistan. By the president was ordered to develop banking system and e-commerce system as well. We are trying to develop this system, but I can say that it's developed highly, very well. It is getting to develop, I can say. And I'm not specialist in sphere of banking system. That's why I cannot give information, detailed information about it, what programs does work, I'm not sure, but I know that it's developing. And what about the tourism sector? As I mentioned in my presentation, I'll show you once more. Tourism sector was exempted from taxes on land and property till the end of 2020. I think it helps to become more stronger sector in terms of pandemic. This is the government support regarding taxes. And a question regarding to population, if I catch right, you asked about the population elderly age. It accounts 7-8% of people in age elder than 60 years old. So I have to say that the country is young and populated. That's why we have some problems with working places because of a huge labor force. I think which problem has Indonesia as well.
Thank you, Zulayho. It's very interesting to discuss about the Uzbekistan economy from the perspective of international connection and also the condition of the technology infrastructure and also about the population and the other sectors. I have a concern on the services because you mentioned that 48% of the economy is depending on the services, while only 18% focusing on agriculture and 34% is focusing on industry. Can you please elaborate more on the aspect of what kind of industry is produced by Uzbekistan and what kind of services? Is it focusing on tourism services or um, in what aspect? And
Yes.
then yes,
Mhm.
please go ahead.
Yes, regarding the services sector, yes, it's developing tourism sphere, financial sphere, communication sphere, and transport, I can say. These are the main sectors of industry of Uzbekistan. And in producing, today is one of the main sectors of producing sectors is textile, which is newly developing sectors of producing of industry of Uzbekistan, which is we say light industry.
Thank you very much. Some students, our student, Penny Zuhrotin, asking about export and import, Professor Zulayho.
Yeah.
Can you please give us an idea about what kind of imports and export in the Uzbekistan? Because you mentioned in your presentation that Uzbekistan export and also import in many other countries. It says a very general information like um, food, and then machinery and equipment, and then um, and maybe other goods. So can you please give us an example? What kind of food maybe, or maybe what kind of things that exported or imported by Uzbekistan, especially in the context of Indonesia?
Ah, okay. Good question. I'm not sure. Maybe we can import some machinery or equipment from Indonesia, I think. I'm not sure. I don't have full information about Indonesia. And I think we can export, if interesting for you, we can export gold, or which is developing today with highly rates chemicals goods, or some foods. I cannot say that the foods will be so attracted by Indonesia as if I'm not wrong, the agrarian sector is well developed in Indonesia. Am I right?
Right. Yes, we are we are quite strong in the agriculture sectors.
Yes, that's why I don't think that foods from Uzbekistan will be so attractive for Indonesia. I'm not sure.
But what kind
I
of
don't
foods?
know what is it.
What kind of food that you export?
Usually we export agrarian foods, agrarian fruits and vegetables, different fruits and vegetables. That's why I think it's not so attractive for you. What do you think? What kind of our goods are attractive for you? Tell me, you please.
Most of Indonesian people know about the tourism sector from Uzbekistan. So tourism is one of the biggest what we call interests for Indonesian people, especially the culture, the science, and then the tradition of Uzbekistan. And I think students also interested in finding the opportunity to what we call to do a community service probably, or maybe such kind of project or student exchange project in Uzbekistan. And how is the possibility of doing the a joint project between students and faculty members, especially in the area of economic and faculties? What kind of interests that the faculty members at Tashkent State University of Oriental Study have to collaborate with foreign partners, especially Indonesia? Can you please give maybe just a picture of possible opportunities for us, for students, and also for faculty members in the area of maybe community service, or maybe in the area of um, research, maybe, or maybe in the other areas that we can do collaboration in the area of economic and business between UNISMA Malang and Tashkent State University of Oriental Studies.
Okay, thank you. Regarding the question of tourism, I think it will be attractive pilgrim tourism for Indonesians. I think pilgrim tourism in Uzbekistan will be attractive for Indonesia. And regarding the joint programs, we are ready to start to launch programs with the Indonesian students and the teachers. I have to mention that regarding the economic faculty, we have 4 departments. The first department is ours, foreign economic activity and tourism department. The second one is economy of Eastern countries, where also we can to corporate view, and the third one is mathematics, and the fourth one is the policy of student country. So we are ready to develop relations between students and teachers in this sphere. I think it will be good to have some research regarding tourism. As I know, Indonesia is one of the well-developed centers of tourism. Am I right? That's why I think research will be joint research will be good for both sides, I think. And regarding the exchange programs, there are we have Department of student language, where Indonesian language is taught, and we have department where economy of Indonesia is taught. So I think we have big opportunities to develop corporate relations. We are ready. Students and teachers as well. We are ready. For example, I really like the professor. I cannot remember him. Previous professor gave us lecture previous in session. It was really interesting in so we have also good teachers in business, in foreign trade. We can make some exchange programs in sphere.
Thank you very much, Professor Zulayho. Very interesting answer. I would like to translate it into Indonesian language. Jadi ada beberapa kesempatan yang sangat bagus tadi Profesor Dr. Zulayho menyampaikan. Ada beberapa kesempatan yang bisa dikerjakan baik oleh dosen maupun mahasiswa. Profesor Zulayho tadi mengundang Bapak Ibu dosen dan mahasiswa untuk bekerja sama dan melakukan student exchange maupun faculty exchange yang sudah kita lakukan saat ini, terutama di bidang economy of Indonesia and tourism of Indonesia and Uzbekistan, karena bisnis tourism ini sesuatu yang menjadi kesamaan antara Uzbekistan dan Indonesia. So we have both a commonality between Indonesia and Uzbekistan, especially in the area of tourism business tourism. And of course, we can do such kind of research, comparative research, or maybe collaborative research between the Faculty of Economics of UNISMA and the Faculty of Economics in Uzbekistan. And about the exchange opportunity, tadi sudah disampaikan oleh Profesor Zulayho, mahasiswa Indonesia bisa ke sana, karena di sana itu ada mata kuliah namanya ekonomi internasional, foreign economy, sehingga nanti mahasiswa-mahasiswa Indonesia, dosen-dosen Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis bisa berkunjung ke sana dan dari sana juga bisa ke sini, sehingga nanti harapannya, we hope that this very potential program can be followed up even after the COVID pandemic, or maybe if the pandemic is not over, we can still conduct it online via Zoom platform meeting or other platform meeting. It's a very interesting discussion about the economy of Uzbekistan and the economy of Indonesia. I'm very interested about a type of tourism business in Uzbekistan. You haven't mentioned yet about tourism business in Uzbekistan. Can you please share, in addition to because what we know is only Imam Bukhari, maybe the other what we call other part of tourism site in Uzbekistan?
Yes, of course. Yes, a lot of people just have information about our pilgrim tourisms like Bukhari, yes, or Samarkand, but I can say that today Tashkent is a really attractive city of the world. Today we have Tashkent city, where we have high buildings, good infrastructure, and there are a lot of objects, touristic objects in our mountains, which are really answers to today's demand. So I can say, despite the cultural tourism today in Uzbekistan is developing recreational tourism as well. We have touristic objects, and the new ones are building at the moment as well. So that's why I think it will be really interesting for tourists from South Asian countries and from Indonesia as well. Please come visit Tashkent and enjoy. We are ready. Just let us know when you come to Tashkent or to our cities. So, and the answer is the recreational tourism is developing in the country.
Thank you, Professor Zulayho. There is another question from our students. How about the situation of Muslim in Uzbekistan? Because the majority of Indonesian population is Muslim. How is the interaction of Muslim? How is the Muslim culture? What we call how is the Muslim culture embedded within the society? And then how is the culture, international culture in Uzbekistan in relation to Muslim, and maybe the culture of Muslim or the communication among non-Muslim?
Okay.
Are there any non-Muslim in Uzbekistan, and how is the relationship? Is it difficult for Muslim to practice their what we call their belief and system in Uzbekistan, especially when there are students from other countries, for example? Okay.
Okay, thank you. If I'm not wrong, 90 or 95% of the population are Muslims. Beside the Muslims, we have Christians as well, which accounts, if I'm not wrong, 3 or 5%, maybe 3%. I'm not sure, but the biggest part of the population are Muslims. We have a lot of mosques. We have a lot of objects regarding the Muslims' prayers and etc. And every Jumu'ah we have a big praying in mosques, and we have no restrictions regarding to Muslims or any other representatives of religions. So people from any other religions representatives can feel free in our country, because, as I mentioned, we are not neutral just regarding to our foreign relations. We are a neutral country even in case of religions. That's why there is no restrict or there is no problem for Muslims. There are a lot of opportunities. There are a lot of conditions to walk, to pray, to wear dress in this. In case of Uzbekistan, there is no restrictions. We're sovereign government, and I think all opportunities, all conditions are well developed in the country.
Thank you very much. So, in your perception, so I'm talking about perception. So, how is Uzbekistan perception on Indonesia? Do they see Indonesia as a culturally diverse country, or so what do you think about Uzbekistanian perception on Indonesia, especially on the economy?
Especially on the economy, as I'm a teacher of economy, I can say that Indonesia is one of the fastly developing countries today. I think Indonesia is developing with high rates, I can say. And I know the next thing that population of Indonesia is people which likes to work. They are not lazy. This is the very important thing. I think this is very important issue. That's why we accept or we see Indonesia as a country which is trying to develop, which is trying to do his best to protect his population and to do his best for his population. I think so. That's why we appreciate Indonesia's I can say responses in this sphere. And the next thing, I know that Indonesia in recent years trying to turn his attention to education sphere, if I'm not wrong, to higher education as well. And today's our webinar, I think, is one of the main points of this program as well. That's why Indonesia is developing with the high rates. Good luck.
Thank you, Prof. Zulayho. Jadi tadi ada tanggapan persepsi orang Uzbekistan terhadap Indonesia itu, orang Indonesia itu ternyata orangnya super kerja keras. Kemudian apa namanya, kerja keras untuk membangun negaranya. Kemudian apa namanya, sehingga percepatan pertumbuhannya luar biasa, sehingga mampu bisa apa namanya bersaing dengan negara-negara yang lain dan mampu mempertahankan populasi yang sangat banyak, itu ada sekitar 250 juta populasi, sehingga apa namanya 250 juta lebih, 260 juta populasi yang ada. Sehingga dalam perspektif Uzbekistan, Indonesia ini adalah negara yang besar, menjadi mitra ideal dalam rangka pengembangan apa namanya ekonomi, dalam rangka pengembangan kerjasama di bidang pendidikan dan di bidang lain. Saya kira itu. Ada lagi, ini saya akan cek lagi, ada beberapa pertanyaan mungkin yang belum saya baca. I'm reading some of questions, whether so many of the questions are asking about tourism, and then okay, so because time is almost up, I would like to ask Professor Zulayho to give your concluding remark, your maybe messages you want to deliver to our students, because more than 100 students attending via Zoom meeting and also via YouTube. What kind of messages you want to deliver to our students at the Faculty of Economic and Business, UNISMA Malang, in relation to the economic and business, in relation to the cooperation, and maybe in relation to the future cooperation between the two countries?
Thank you. Thank you so much, dear students and professors of University of Malang. I'm very happy that you attended today's webinar, and I'm very happy that it was interesting for you, such many issues regarding Uzbekistan. In my opinion, regarding to Indonesia, I really like it. What I can say, I invite you to Uzbekistan. Please come and see our touristic objectives. Please enjoy opportunities which are developing today. And for students of Indonesian university, I can say let's cooperate, let's develop between our university relationship. We are ready, just let us know. And it's very good that the students and teachers of university are interested in economic development of Uzbekistan, and it's very important that it's interesting for you tourism sphere of Uzbekistan. So we are ready to cooperate, and we will be happy to see you in Tashkent and in Tashkent State University of Oriental Studies. I think our relationship is just beginning. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Profesor Zulayho. Jadi tadi concluding statement dari Profesor Zulayho menyampaikan beliau sebagai kepala Departemen Foreign Economy and Tourism sangat-sangat berterima kasih. Ini adalah sesuatu awal yang sangat-sangat baik. Harapannya adalah mahasiswa-mahasiswa dan sekaligus dosen ditunggu kehadirannya di Tashkent State University of Oriental Studies untuk bisa melakukan kerjasama, kolaborasi, dan maupun di bidang-bidang yang lain. Dan awal ini adalah awal yang harapan beliau adalah dilanjutkan sehingga mudah-mudahan bisa dikonkretkan, sehingga mahasiswa dan sivitas akademika dari Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis UNISMA Malang bisa berkunjung ke sana tidak hanya melalui virtual. I think it's a very interesting topic to discuss. Thank you very much, Professor Zulayho. Thank you very much, Assistant Professor Nurdiana, M.Si, for the welcoming remarks, for attending to this joint international webinar. All vice deans who are coming from the Faculty of Economic and Business, and all faculty members and students from Faculty of Economic and Business UNISMA Malang, and from all over Indonesia and from Uzbekistan. I really appreciate your coming and for your participation in this joint international webinar. Again, for Professor Zulayho for a very excellent and great presentation about economy in Uzbekistan. That's all from me. Let's say, and thank you very much, and let's close our event this afternoon by reciting Surat Al-Asr together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal asri innal insana lafi khusrin illa alladhina amanu wa amilus solihati wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. Thank you, and we are looking forward. Sampai jumpa lagi pada agenda berikutnya, visiting online program, collaboration between the Faculty of Economic and Business UNISMA Malang and Department of Foreign Economy and Tourism, Tashkent State University of Islam Malang. I am Imam Karimullah, and apologize for any inconvenience. And the last, wallahul muwafiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And thank you.